My name is Aimee Barrett Theron and I am a biokineticist practicing and living in Cape Town, South Africa. My special interest in biokinetics is orthopedics and high performance. I think being an athlete myself, I can really relate to the process, to the rehab, to the person going through the rehab. I know when I was growing up and when I got into high-level sport, you obviously pick up a few niggles along the way, and I always really appreciated the people that put me back together and helped me get into the right condition to perform well on the field. So I really look forward to the time where I could do that for others, and that's why I am here today at my practice with that focus. Becoming a rugby referee was quite a journey, and I think it started way back in '95 when the Springboks won the World Cup. It definitely ignited a fire and a passion within me for the game, and I got involved with as much as I could. I started with touch rugby in high school, made it to the national squads, played in the Junior and Senior World Cup, then progressed into the 7s and the 15s games, and again very lucky to go to the 2009 Sevens World Cup and the 2010 15s World Cup. So it really ticked a lot of boxes as far as playing and traveling and meeting people, and being able to wear the green and gold jersey is just an incredible experience. And I think just going on from that, I was looking for my next challenge. I felt that I'd done what I could in the game, and I thought about picking up the whistle. There's a couple of people along the way that encouraged me a little bit and thought, hey, why don't you give this a go? I had seen it, there was a couple of women reffing internationally, and I thought, yeah, let's take on this new challenge. And so in 2014, picked up the whistle. I remember watching the 2014 Women's World Cup, and a woman called Aimee Barrett was reffing. She's from Australia. She reffed the final, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm Aimee Barrett, she's Aimee Barrett. Like, if that Aimee can ref at the top level, so can I. And yeah, it really just grew from there. So I started with the barefoot rugby in the middle of Cape Town, not really knowing what I was doing. Obviously as a player you think you know everything, but once I had the whistle in my hand, I regretted every comment I made towards the referee. But yeah, it grew from there, and I was quite lucky to get snapped up quite quickly by SA Rugby, being an ex-national player, and yeah, here we are today. Being a biokineticist has definitely benefited my reffing career. I think especially when it comes to training, recovery, periodization of our training, our weeks, our years. It's been massive to bring the science, bring the biokinetics into all of that, to make sure that my training matches my game demands, so we can perform week in, week out. Fitness is so vital when it comes to refereeing. I think back when I was a player, playing fly off or full back, there were certainly moments where I switched off briefly while the forwards did the work. But I've seen as a referee, there isn't that opportunity, and there's so much movement around the field, and with all of that there's so much thinking that goes with it, that you have to make sure that you bring in the science into your training. And we have a pretty tough training calendar. We are working Monday to Friday, and then reffing on Saturday, whether it be in the gym, on the fields, and things like that. And yeah, just to be able to understand from a biokinetics perspective how to achieve what I want to achieve on the field has been massive as far as performing at the level that I want to perform at. At the same time, there's also that human connection. I think working at my biokinetics practice, you're dealing with patients one-on-one, and you learn to read people, read their bodies, read situations, and you're trying to think of what's the best way forward, what's the best exercise, how do I work best with this person here. And on the rugby field we do a lot of that. We constantly assessing players, reading situations, making decisions, and I've really seen the value of staying in control of those moments, and biokinetics has benefited that. And then lastly, when it comes to player safety, as a referee, that's our number one priority. And then from the biokinetic side, I can understand what's going on in the field. Unfortunately, injuries do happen in sport, and I can certainly sympathize with a player who has gone down injured. If I've seen the mechanism, seen the collision, I know this is the time where we can take a moment, get the medical personnel on, and get them seen to as soon as possible. So it's quite a nice bridge across, and yeah, I really enjoy what each profession brings into the other profession. Being a professional rugby referee means my attention is a bit split between my biokinetics practice and the rugby field, but I have an immense passion for both fields, and I do spend a good few days a week at my biokinetics practice. I have some very supportive patients who have been with me throughout most of my reffing journey, and I think that each profession actually supports the other one. So obviously the science of exercise and bringing that into my training for reffing is very helpful, especially reffing the international level, reffing the men. The conditioning is a 6-day-a-week program, and so it's wonderful to practice what you preach. And then at the same time, from the reffing perspective, just to be strong, confident, take control has really helped me run my biokinetics practice. At the same time, it's actually quite a nice break from each profession. So you go from the wild intensity and energy of rugby to the one-on-one session at a biokinetics practice, and it's quite a nice balance for the week. Being one of the first female rugby referees was quite an adventure. I think I'm very fortunate where I'm sitting today, being fully contracted and well supported by SA Rugby. I often look back into the early days where it wasn't just new for me, but it's new for the players and the spectators, and the early games where it was, oh, Mr. Ref, Mrs. Ref, ma'am, Tani, I don't know, what do we call you? So we grew from there, and as week in, week out, and I knew that I had to work extra hard off the field to make sure that I could, say, prove my way on a Saturday. And yeah, I think growing through the ranks, going through Craven Week, Varsity Cup, Curry Cup, URC, into the 7s internationals, 15s internationals, it really has been quite a journey. And I think in general, I'm quite shy, and I prefer to be at the back, out of the limelight, but I really saw the value of my role to other women, that if they could see me doing well, then they also had hope and inspiration for what they were doing, whether it be in rugby and other sports in the corporate world. So it was really important for me to keep performing well, and to make sure that women in sport, women could see what I was doing. So to be recognized last year, our Children's Referee of the Year was massive, and it was just amazing to be acknowledged in that way, and just have that moment of there's so much hard work that goes into a year, and you have some tough games, and you have some great games, and you meet some wonderful people, and just incredible experiences, whether it be here in South Africa or traveling the world, and to get that award was amazing. The nature of refereeing means I do quite a lot of traveling, especially over the weekends, and there's a good few international trips thrown in there. And unfortunately with COVID, it's meant quite a lot of, say, isolation and bubbles, and not being able to take my wife with. But I know that when I come home, when I'm spending time in Cape Town, I really try and make the most of our quality time together. We have a wonderful new puppy, and it's just great to get out into the forest, or walk on the beach and just talk and connect and engage. And it's amazing to, especially with COVID, I think we've seen the value of friends and family. It's just amazing to have this wealth of support around me. Reffing can be incredibly tough, and not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, and just having those people there has been amazing.